Today I review a movie that tackles complex issues such as family, greed, deception, and loose loincloths. Hello and welcome to Rotted Review of the Day, and today it is World Trotting Wednesday, and I am taking a look at the 2018 movie from India, Tumbbad. This is the second horror film from India that I have reviewed, the first one being Bhagamati, and it was interesting comparing the two. That was honestly why I chose this one, is I thought that Bhagamati was really good. It was very, very beautiful stylistically, and but a bit almost style over substance, overly complex, way too complex of an intricate storyline that would have fallen apart with any kind of scrutiny. And I was curious where this one was going to go. Tumbbad. I saw it. First of all, I saw it and I thought, Tumbbad, that sounds pretty good. Okay, pronunciations being what they are, and I'm still probably pronouncing it somewhat incorrectly, and for that, I apologize. It's not cultural insensitivity. I'm just doing my best. But what I found with this movie is a very, very unique quality film. A movie of stark contrast. This was a simple story that is told very well, and it's framed within a film that has a dreary tone presented very beautifully. It's definitely not what you would ordinarily think of from a Western culture's standpoint of Bollywood or Indian film. And I was very, very genuinely surprised by this one, especially towards the latter half. It's not that the first half was bad in the slightest. It just took a little while to get going, and it was very, very, the method of storytelling with this one, the narrative, made for a very confusing first half. You generally understood what was going on, but the how and the why, you were totally in the dark. I'm going to go ahead and throw all the scores up here. Each category is worth up to 25 points for a total possible score of 100 points. Now, the storyline narrative of this film principally follows the character of Vinyak Rao, who, through a series of chapters within the film, we follow him during the entire course of his life, really, from a young boy all the way to a older middle-aged man with a son of his own. And there's a heavy mythological back end to this, with the goddess creating the entire universe, and her firstborn of Hastar was greedy and stole from her, stole gold, but got caught when he continued trying to steal food. And as a punishment, he is sent to live in her womb, where he is allowed to live. And the only condition of that is that he not be allowed to be worshipped, that his name not be written or spoken or worshipped at all by humans. And as a child within this village, Vinyak Rao is basically forced to flee with his mother because the village of Tumbbad is worshipping Hastar and is suffering the consequences of it. There's a financial gain that is alluded to, but also alluded to as a spiritual reckoning. So they flee, and the story kind of takes off from there. I don't want to really give a whole lot away, just because the way that this story unfolds is very, very unique, and I don't want to betray it. Suffice it to say, Vinyak is definitely not done with the village of Tumbbad throughout the course of his life, nor with that financial boon, as this movie goes into the concept of greed and selling one's soul, and the risk that one is willing to take with family. And there's a lot of good morality play in here. But the thing I really loved about this film is, like I said, the way that it unfolds, it made for a very confusing first half, but it managed to reveal the how and the why while staying within the present narrative. There were no flashbacks. There were no character telling a story around a campfire where it explains what happened in the portions you just saw. But it's really just a clever use of present actions, revealing the backstory of what we'd already witnessed. And in doing so, revealed more of the mythos. And I really genuinely enjoyed not the story, well, yes, the story itself, but moreover, the way that it was told. It was a really fantastic example of non-linear storytelling and how much impact that can have as the the whys and the hows are revealed to the audience. The whats have that much more impact, and this really showed it off, which is why I gave the plot as high as I did. The intention of this one, I found this to be very captivating, great character arcs, storytelling in general, beautiful. If you want a very complex, rich horror movie that is not reliant on jump scares, but is more reliant on characters interacting with one another and struggling within their own internal conflicts, this is absolutely one for that. And I know that I hear that in the horror community a lot, is we're winding up with it kind of, there's a few standout exceptions, but there's still a lot of very vapid, jump scare, hollow movies out there. And this is not one of them. This has some good meat on it. And although this was gruesome and visceral in places, the one thing that I did think was a little bit lacking was I didn't think it was all that scary. There weren't just wasn't a whole lot of scary moments, but there were some unsettling ones, and there were some great visuals surrounding them. The acting, I gave 19 out of 25. Great performances all around. I really don't have any complaints about that. They were sold very well. The quality did remain a little bit understated until the latter half, but that wasn't an aspect of the acting itself. It was more an aspect of when the character development started really happening, which allowed the acting to shine through as much as it did. And the technical, 21 out of 25 there. The settings, the cinematography, the practical effects were all stellar. Just beautiful, even in the dreary tones that it had. This was not a vibrantly colored film. This definitely has some darker tones and some muted tones to it, and but it was still just absolutely gorgeous through and through from start to finish. The one reason I honestly wanted to give the technical higher, but there was one thing I really couldn't overlook, and that was most of the CG in this one was pretty good, but I do have to ding it just at least a point or two for some of the CG creature effects, one in particular, but it's an important one, and it's a repeated one, so I can't really go into a whole lot more than that. Suffice it to say, it did ding it just a little bit on the technical. It would have gotten higher, which I think is actually more of a testament to how I felt about the editing and the settings and the cinematography. So that gives us a total 81 out of 100 points. I really, really recommend Tumbbad to any horror film lover. I thought this was a genuinely great story that was told very, very well, very unique, very creative. All told, just an absolute joy and a movie worth watching. So that is my review of 2018's Tumbbad from India. Really thank you for joining me here today. If you like these videos, please click like and subscribe. If you want to support me further, my Patreon link is below. Thank you again. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.